What if I told you the first billionaire athletes lived 2,000 years ago? Fans rioted for team colors, and sports decided life and death. Everything you think you know about modern sports began long before stadium lights, cameras, or social media. Stay with me, because ancient sports were louder, richer, and deadlier than anything today. Ancient peoples spent more time on entertainment than you realize. Rome dedicated over 135 days a year to public festivals. That is 1/3 of the calendar year filled with blood, speed, and sweat. You think modern sports fans are intense. In the year 532, sports fans in Constantinople started a riot that burned half the city and killed 30,000 people. This happened because of a chariot racing dispute. Ancient entertainment was not a hobby. It was life and death. The Colosseum economics. The Colosseum in Rome held 50,000 to 80,000 spectators. Engineers designed it so the entire crowd exited in under 15 minutes. This efficiency matches modern NFL stadiums. You sat according to your social rank. The emperor sat in the podium. Senators sat on marble benches. The poor and women sat at the very top on wooden seats. Admission was free. The state provided bread and circus to prevent civil unrest. Gladiators were expensive assets. Training a fighter cost thousands of sesterces. Most matches did not end in death. Data from the 1st century shows only 10% of matches resulted in a fatality. By the 3rd century, this rose to 25%. A gladiator lived an average of 27 years. This lifespan matched the average Roman citizen. Fighters received the best medical care and high-carb diets of barley and beans. They were the original professional athletes with sponsorship deals and fan merchandise. The Colosseum functioned as an economic engine, not only a spectacle venue. Built in the 1st century CE, it seated over 50,000 spectators. Events ran for days or weeks. Gladiators, animals, stage crews, vendors, and officials all formed part of a massive labor system. Gladiators were trained in schools called ludi. These schools invested in nutrition, medical care, and combat training. Skilled fighters were valuable assets. Owners rented them to event organizers. Contracts specified appearance fees and survival bonuses. A popular gladiator earned more alive than dead. Animal hunts required global supply chains. Lions came from North Africa. Bears came from Europe. Crocodiles came from the Nile. In one recorded festival under Emperor Trajan, over 10,000 animals were killed. This required transport ships, handlers, cages, and feeding systems. The cost was enormous, funded through state revenue and war spoils. Chariot racing and the billionaire athletes. If you want to find the highest paid athlete in history, look at Gaius Apuleius Diocles. He was a Roman chariot racer in the 2nd century. He earned 35 million sesterces in his career. This equals roughly $15 billion today. No modern soccer or basketball star comes close to his wealth. Chariot racing was the most popular sport in Rome. The Circus Maximus held 150,000 people. That is triple the capacity of the Colosseum. The races involved 4 factions: red, white, blue, and green. Fans identified with these colors for life. Faction loyalty dictated politics and social circles. Drivers wrapped reins around their waists to use body weight for steering. If a chariot flipped, the driver was dragged to death unless he cut himself free with a curved knife. These races were high-speed collisions. A typical day featured 24 races. Each race lasted 7 laps, covering about 4 miles. You need to understand one clear fact first. Chariot racing was the most profitable sport of the ancient world. In Rome, top charioteers earned sums higher than senators and generals. Inscriptions record earnings with exact numbers. One famous driver, Gaius Apuleius Diocles, retired in the 2nd century CE with winnings totaling about 35 million sesterces. Economic historians calculate this amount as equal to several billion US dollars when converted through grain prices and average wages. This was not myth or exaggeration. These numbers come from stone inscriptions listing race victories and prize payments. The blood and dust of Olympia. The Greek Olympics began in 776 BC. They ran for 1,200 years without fail. The stadium at Olympia held 45,000 men. Women faced the death penalty for attending. One exception existed for the priestess of Demeter and unmarried girls. Spectators traveled from as far as modern Spain and Egypt. They slept in tents. They dealt with heat, flies, and lack of water. An aqueduct only arrived in 153 AD. The most brutal event was the pancration. This was a mix of boxing and wrestling. Only 2 rules existed: no biting and no eye gouging. Fighters fought until surrender or death. In one famous case, Aricion of Phagalia died from a neck crank, but won the match because his opponent surrendered from a broken toe at the same moment. The Greeks prized the crown of olive leaves more than gold. Winners received free meals for life and front-row seats at theaters in their home cities. The Olympic Games were not gentle contests of honor. They were brutal tests of endurance and pain. Events such as boxing and pancration allowed bone fractures, strangulation, and death. No weight classes existed. Fighters used leather straps hardened with knots. Referees carried whips and enforced rules through public punishment. Olympia hosted the Games every 4 years, starting in 776 BCE. During peak periods, tens of thousands attended. Athletes trained for years. City-states funded their preparation. Victory brought lifelong rewards, free meals, tax exemption, front-row seats, and statues funded by the city. Losing brought shame. Some athletes died during competition. Ancient writers such as Pausanias recorded deaths and injuries without surprise. The Mayan ball game. In Mesoamerica, the ball game was a religious ritual. Players used a solid rubber ball weighing up to 10 pounds. You hit the ball with your hips, elbows, or knees. Hands and feet were forbidden. The ball was so heavy it caused internal bleeding or death on impact. Players wore thick leather padding to survive. Some courts featured stone rings 20 feet high. Getting the ball through the ring ended the game immediately. Archaeological evidence disputes the idea that losers always died. Sacrifice happened during specific political or religious events. Most games functioned as community sport or a way to settle land disputes without war. The court represented the gateway to the underworld. The movement of the ball symbolized the sun and moon. You played to keep the universe in balance.
The Mesoamerican ball game was not recreation. It was ritual theater tied to cosmic order. Courts appear across the region from about 1400 BCE to the Spanish arrival. Archaeologists have documented more than 1,500 courts. Some cities built several. This frequency proves constant play and public attendance. The ball weighed up to 4 kilograms and was made from solid rubber. Players struck it using hips, thighs, and forearms. Protective gear covered joints and ribs. Matches took place inside long stone courts with sloping walls. Some courts featured stone rings mounted high on the walls. Passing the ball through a ring ended the game instantly. Now you have seen the full picture. Ancient sports were not simple games. They were industries built on money, power, belief, and risk. Chariot racers earned wealth beyond imagination. Olympians fought until bodies broke. The Mayan ball game tied victory to cosmic order. The Colosseum moved entire economies. Modern stadiums, contracts, and fan culture did not appear from nowhere. They stand on foundations laid thousands of years ago. Next time you watch a race, a match, or a fight, remember this truth. You are watching the continuation of one of humanity's oldest traditions.